Hi everyone, we've had a little swap around. Bertha's at the back of the garage, well actually she's at the front of the garage and the 916 is at the back, but you know what I mean. So right now I'm going to get some work done on the 916 while we're waiting for some parts for the Hayabusa. Let me have a chat with you about the 916. Isn't she lovely? Right, what can I tell you about the 916 that I've not already told you? Well, it's an absolute beauty of a bike, and I feel truly lucky and honoured to have be able to own the 916 and ride the 916. I've not rode it anywhere near as much as I would like to. So with that in mind, I want to get some work done and put some miles in. I mean, I want to ride the 916. I want to ride Bertha. I'm waiting on parts for Bertha still. So like I said, 916. Now the 916, I had the 916 since, when was it? The end of last summer. I've managed a handful of rides, and it is just a lovely bike to ride. It really does handle amazingly. It sounds super awesome. And to look at it is just awesome as well, isn't it? But basically this bike was on show up at the NEC last year's motorcycle show on the Ducati 916 stand, the anniversary stand. Yeah, it was a real proud moment to have it there, even though I wasn't really responsible for its present condition. I still take pride in it. I've recently had some new Michelin Power Cup tyres fitted. They're the Power Cup 2. Now those are really saucy tyres. They look like slick tyres for the road. They've just got a little bit of some grooves there. So I'm super excited to try these out. I've not rode the bike since I've had the new tyres, which is a real frustrating situation, but I'm determined to get out for a ride. Something I do need to do before I go out for a ride is replace the clutch slave cylinder. Now the clutch slave cylinder, when I bought the bike, it was actually leaking and I thought it was just a bit loose. Stupid me. But it wasn't. The actual seal on the clutch slave cylinder has perished, as they do. Now to replace the seal is not exactly cheap. There are super heavy clutches on these bikes as well as standard. So I'm trying to do a bit of a cheap kind of fix. Now this is a clutch slave cylinder off a Ducati 999. The difference between the two is that this one is a bit longer, a bit deeper, you know what I mean? And the actuator pin that sits in the back of that needs to be longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip this one off, whip it off. I'm going to whip that one out. I'm going to whip it out and measure up the actuator pin and the difference in between that slave cylinder and this one, and then see if I can get a little pin extension made, which should fix the problem and should make this one work. I paid £30 for this. Also came with a nice braided hose. So yeah, I think that's a good fix. If I buy an Oberon aftermarket slave cylinder, they're about £100. So I'm going to see if I can do it that way. It's a bit slower obviously for me to get the bike on the road, but is also a lot cheaper. There is still actually a fair amount to spend on these bikes. The problem is, guys, it's lovely having these bikes. I'm not complaining at all. I love and feel super lucky to have this collection. It's also, you know, comes at a great price. It's not been cheap for me to have, but Taffy and I love our bikes and it's the only thing we do really. It's just bikes. Me and Taffy and Ronnie, it's our life. So yeah, but with having 3 bikes, obviously there's a lot of maintenance costs involved. Taffy's bike needs some maintenance, a bit of TLC. She needs new tyres, it's due a service, and the brakes need a bit of attention. So with that in mind, I've ordered some brake pads. I've got some brake fluid, which I'll change the fluids on the Ducati and, well, all the bikes actually. That will work, that will do. Although it's only a 4 dot. I have got some 5.1 as well here. So I'll use that just for the Ducati, the 4 dot. Oil change for the 636. I'm waiting on an oil filter. We've got lowering links for Taffy's bike, just to lower it slightly, because the seat height on this bike is actually surprisingly high, and Taffy is only a little short ass. So yeah, she's been riding it on tiptoe, and yeah, we decided it would be a good idea just to have it slightly lower so she can have just a little bit more stability at lower speeds when she's stopping and pulling away. So yeah, we're going to give that a go. Lowering kit, just a slight lowering. Taffy has also bought a carbon fibre petrol cap cover. She's bought some RNG tank traction grips. Those come in like a kit. There are like 4 in there, and one goes on the tank here and the other one goes on this lower panel as well. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to get those on. What else did she get? Oh, the bar ends, because when she hit that gravel last summer, she marked up her bar ends, so we're going to put some nice RNG bar ends on there. That has been, she's had that for a little while, so yeah, good to get that done. So yeah, that's about it really. While I'm waiting for the Hayabusa bits, what Hayabusa bits am I waiting on? The front screen, I've still got to do the rear brake. Got to do the rear brake piston, sorry, and fit up the front brakes and brake lines, and also sort out this front fairing. I've kind of loosely put this front fairing on, but it's far from in its final resting place. I won't do that until the screen comes and I can get it all sorted. So much going on here really, guys, and in and amongst this, at some point we'll be ready to ride. But there's a lot going on. A bit more, let's talk a little bit more about the 916. So the 916, I bought it, as I said, last year, but this bike was completely renovated, yeah, and restored by someone. Someone's gone to a lot of trouble. Someone's kind of done some, this isn't complete Olin suspension, because the tops of these forks are actually standard, and someone has anodized a lot of parts, so the top yoke's been anodized. I think these top forks might be anodized, unless this is the top forks off an SPS, I'm not sure. The history is a bit sketchy. I don't know a lot about the history, but I can tell that someone has put a lot of time and effort into this bike. As I say, lower Olin's fork clamps. Looks like maybe this is the standard stanchions that someone's had coated, anodized again. I think with this bike, to be honest, the brake pads need replacing, but I'm going to bleed out the system and see if I can increase the braking strength without replacing the pads. Trying to do jobs and cut corners a little bit, but I'll keep it safe. I'm not going to go out and go crazy. Check out the front again. Michelin Power Cup 2. God, I can't talk when I get this bike out. Don't know what it is. But yeah, overall 916. Considering this is a 1996 bike, when you compare it to the Hayabusa, you all seen how much rust and corrosion was in that Hayabusa. The 916 blows it out of the water condition wise is absolutely spotless. Someone's gone right through this bike and put a lot of new parts into it as well, and I'm super excited to get out for a ride. As you can see, I need to change that brake fluid. It's a bit dark, isn't it? You know, so clutch is empty because I've emptied it out. Yeah, we'll do a start up as well. We'll do a start up for the Hayabusa, but I'm not going to start her until she's finished because that would just be a bit wrong, wouldn't it? So I'm going to keep you all hanging on for that. Sorry guys, but has to be done really, to be fair. So yeah, what is there? Anything else? Front pads, oil filter for Taffy's bike, then we can do all the Taffy stuff. The screen for the Hayabusa, and I can sort that out. But the 916, I think, I'm just looking through my list here of things. The 916, I think we can kind of go on and get some work done. When I changed the tyres last, I've so got this Hoover in the wrong place. When I changed the tyres, I took off the back wheel to find that the rear locking nut on the wheel was rather a lot looser than I anticipated. So I've decided I'm going to give the bike a good going over and just make sure everything is done up to the correct tightness and all the torque settings are correct. But yeah, it's a lovely bike, and I'll tell you what, this bike, the sound never really comes across. It's just such a lovely deep toned booming kind of bike noise of a bike, and then you get that dry clutch kicking in, and yeah, it's rather amazing, to be honest. If I do have to sell it, I'm going to be gutted. But I'll be gutted about selling any of it, to be honest. But there we go. It is what it is. Let's stay optimistic and focus on the positives. And yeah, we'll get through this. The only thing I did forget, I keep forgetting, is the power commander. I'm going to fit the power commander. This is too much light, isn't it? I'm going to fit the power commander as well. And like I said, I will give you a proper startup sound off of the Aquaprovic system, full Aquaprovic system this is. And what I'll do as well is I'll do it in such a way that I'll compare the original footage. I'll set the garage up, the bike up in the same way we did on the first video in the build series on the Hayabusa, and do a sound comparison, and we'll also get out our technical instrument, the sound level meter. So yeah, we use that. It's not broke at all. Yeah, so we get the old decibel readings and compare it from what it was to what it is now, both by our ears and by digital measurements and stuff. Right. Want to ride it? Don't know. You know, I'm using a lot of restraint here, guys, fitting this, and I know it's going to take a long time. I could just go out and buy that Oberon clutch slave, but it's £100 that really actually needs to be spent on collectively all the bikes. So there we go. Well, I just found another angle. Yeah, isn't she a beauty? Another thing I had forgot, I need to change the coolant. The coolant needs to be changed on the bike, because when I've been riding it, I've noticed it's getting quite hot quite quickly. So I just want to make sure that the coolant is in good condition, as I think it's been in there for a while. But yeah, what a Gert Lush beauty this thing is, isn't it? It's Gert Lush. Okay, so thank you everyone, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Just wanted to make this shortish summary video of what you can expect on the channel. and all being well, we can get out on the road soon and give you some on the road experiences of these bikes. Much love to you all, and catch you on the next one. Cheers, bye.